Welcome to the Electronic Visit Verification informational video, overview of the Electronic Services Portal website and the IHSS telephone timesheet system. For general assistance with the Electronic Services Portal website or the IHSS telephone timesheet system, please contact the IHSS Service Desk at 866-376-7066. To access the Electronic Services Portal website, please visit www.etimesheets.ihss.ca.gov. To access the IHSS telephone timesheet system, please call 833-DIAL-EVV or 833-342-5388. Electronic Visit Verification, or EVV, is a federal law that requires electronic record of certain information about the IHSS and/or WPCS services performed. Providers and recipients will be required to submit or approve timesheets electronically. EVV replaces the paper timesheet process for IHSS and WPCS providers and recipients. With EVV, providers will be required to include 3 new data entries in addition to the hours worked when submitting timesheets. Providers will continue entering their hours worked and their minutes worked on their timesheets. Entering hours worked and minutes worked is the same data providers enter and claim on their timesheets today and does not change with the implementation of EVV. To meet the federal law requirement, the enhancement of the EVV information includes entries for start time, end time, and location. The start time. This is the time a provider began providing services on that day for their recipient. The end time. This is the time a provider completed services for their recipient on that day. And the location. GPS is not tracking the provider's location. To meet the federal requirement, providers will need to select a location where the services are provided. The options available to select are home, community, or both. Home is if services were provided in the recipient's home. Community is if services were provided outside of the recipient's home. And both is if services were provided both inside the recipient's home and outside the recipient's home during the workday. Here are some important facts about EVV. EVV does not change how services are performed. EVV does not change the number of hours a recipient receives. Providers will be paid based on their total hours worked, not the time between their start time and end time. Providers get paid faster because the timesheet submission and timesheet approval process is done electronically, and recipients will review timesheets at the end of each pay period as they do today. What does all of this mean? Providers and recipients will be required to submit or approve timesheets by using one of the following options. The first option is online, using the Electronic Services Portal, or ESP. The ESP supports any device with internet access, including laptops, computers, tablets, and smartphones, to allow you to electronically submit or approve IHSS or WPCS timesheets. Providers can access the ESP to enter their time worked, submit a timesheet, and check their payment or timesheet status. Recipients can access the ESP to review and approve or reject their provider's submitted timesheet. The second option is the telephone, using the IHSS telephone timesheet system, or TTS. If you do not have access to the internet or do not want to use the online website, the TTS is an automated telephone system that allows you to submit or approve IHSS or WPCS timesheets using a landline or mobile telephone. Providers can call the TTS to enter their time worked, submit a timesheet, and check their payment or timesheet status. Recipients will receive a call or can call the TTS to review and approve or reject their provider's submitted timesheet. Providers can register and use the ESP or TTS regardless of if their recipient or recipients approve their timesheets through the ESP or the TTS. For example, Provider A, Ron, works for recipient A, Audrey. Ron can submit his timesheets online through the ESP using his laptop or using the TTS on his mobile phone, even if Audrey chooses to approve Ron's timesheets by using the TTS on her home phone. Recipients can register and use the ESP or TTS regardless of if their provider or providers submit their timesheets through the ESP or the TTS. For example, recipient B, Judy, receives services from provider B, Nicole. Judy can approve Nicole's timesheets either through the ESP on her computer or through the TTS on her home phone, even though Nicole has chosen to submit her timesheets using the ESP through her tablet. Both providers and recipients can be registered and use the ESP and TTS at the same time. Providers can enter their time using one method, and their time is saved if they choose to enter their time using the other method the following day. And time entered is automatically updated in both systems once it has been saved. For example, on Monday, a provider using the ESP claimed 8 hours. On the next day, Tuesday, using the TTS, claimed 7 hours. Because providers can be registered and use the ESP and TTS at the same time, the provider now has a total of 15 saved hours for the current work week. Recipients can approve a timesheet using one method and can choose to approve another timesheet using the other method. For example, for the Part A timesheet, a recipient can approve their provider's timesheet using the ESP. For the Part B timesheet, because recipients can be registered and use the ESP and TTS at the same time, the recipient can use the TTS to approve their provider's timesheet. The registration process for the ESP is easy for providers and recipients. To register, providers and recipients need to enter some user information, for example, their name and date of birth. They need to enter either their provider number or case number, enter a valid email address, and need to create a username and a password. To register for the TTS, providers and recipients need to enter some user information, for example, their registration code. A registration code is a 6-digit number that adds additional security by being unique to providers and recipients. This protects the identity of providers and recipients and ensures only they can register for their account. Registration codes are mailed to providers and recipients. Providers and recipients will also need to enter either their provider or case number and their date of birth. Once the system has confirmed who they are, providers and recipients will need to create a passcode. A passcode is a 4-digit number that will be used each time providers or recipients log into the TTS. Here are some of the benefits of using ESP and the TTS. Getting paid faster. Providers can get paid even faster if they have direct deposit. No mailing time. Submitting timesheets electronically eliminates the mailing time for timesheets. No postage required. Submitting timesheets electronically eliminates the hassle of buying stamps to mail timesheets. Reduce timesheet errors by submitting clean, legible timesheets electronically. Violation warnings for providers. Providers will receive helpful messages when they enter their time. And timesheets cannot be submitted without signatures. ESP and TTS require an electronic signature before timesheets can be submitted or approved. Here are some important things to know about EVV. Providers do not need to check in or check out during the day. And GPS will not be used to capture the provider's location. The online portal for EVV will be easy for both the provider and the recipient to use, and a help desk will be available for providers and recipients using EVV. Providers and recipients will not be alone. Now, here's an EVV recap. EVV does not change how services are performed. EVV does not change the number of hours a recipient receives. Providers will be paid based on their total hours worked, not the time between their start time and end time. Providers get paid faster because the timesheet submission and timesheet approval process is done electronically, and recipients will review timesheets at the end of each pay period as they do today. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video. Overview of the Electronic Services Portal website and the IHSS telephone timesheet system. Please continue to view additional informational videos at the highlighted website address to learn more about the Electronic Services Portal website. If you are using this website for the first time, you will need to register for an account. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a drop-down list for language options. You may select your preferred language by clicking the drop-down menu. The Electronic Services Portal is available in English, Spanish, Chinese, and Armenian for both recipients and providers. If you have questions before you get started, there is a link under the Register Here link for registration frequently asked questions. This will open a document which provides information for you, such as what information you will need to be able to complete your registration. Once you are ready to begin, on the main website login screen, you will see the Register Here link in blue. Click the Register Here link to start your registration process. After selecting the Register Here link, you will be taken to the Welcome screen. At the top of the screen, you will see a notice which provides information on who has the ability to participate on this website. To get started, you will select if you are a recipient or if you are a provider. After making your selection, click on the Begin Registration Process button. You will then be taken to the Register screen. You will see at the top of your screen your registration progress bar. This will show you your progress of completing the 5 easy steps to register for your account. You will know which step you are currently working on because it will be orange in your progress bar. Your first step, Step 1, will be to enter your user information. This tells us about you and lets the system check for your information in the IHSS or WPCS services program. You will need to enter the following information: your first name, your last name, your date of birth. If you are a provider, you will need to enter your provider number. It should be 9 digits and can be located on any provider paperwork you've received, such as a previous pay stub. Or, if you are a recipient, enter your case number. It should be 7 digits and you may locate your case number on your notices of action. And then, your Social Security number. Please enter only the last 4 digits. If you have entered your information and receive a message informing you that the information is not a match to our records, please contact your local county IHSS or IHO office. Please note that your personal information is not stored in this website. It is only used for the initial verification against what is stored in the IHSS or WPCS system. Once you have completed Step 1, please select the Next button. You will know you have completed a step because it will change from orange to green, and there will be a check mark next to the completed step in your progress bar. After completing Step 1, you will notice on your progress bar that you are on to Step 2. For Step 2, you will enter the following information for your new account. Create your username. Your username is case sensitive and can be anything you want it to be, but must have at least 6 characters. These can be numbers, letters, or symbols. Make sure that it is something you will remember. You will need it to complete your registration and access your account. Then, create your password. Your password is case sensitive and must be at least 8 characters in length and must include a combination of letters, at least 2 numbers, and no special characters, and should not be shared with other people. Again, it should be something you can remember, as you will need it to complete your registration and access your account. Next, confirm your password. Enter the same password as you did above. Then, enter your email address. Enter a valid email address, as this will be used for notifications on your account. You will then need to confirm your email. Enter the same email that you entered above. After completing Step 2, select the Next button. After completing Step 2, you will notice on your progress bar that you are on to Step 3. For Step 3, you will need to answer some security questions. You will choose 3 different security questions from the drop-down list. Click the arrow on the right-hand side of the box to see the questions you can choose from. Make sure your answers to your chosen security questions are hard for others to guess, but easy for you to remember. You will use these questions to complete your registration as well as resetting your password, if necessary. Once you have selected and answered your 3 questions, select the Next button to complete Step 3. After completing Step 3, you will notice on your progress bar that you are on to Step 4, and an email will be sent to you at the valid email address you provided. You will need to verify your email address. Go to your incoming email and check for a message from the IHSS website. If you don't see a message in your inbox, please check your spam folder for the email. Here is a sample of what your email message will look like. When you receive the email, you will be asked to verify your email address. To do this, follow the steps in the email by clicking the Verify My Email Address and Login link. It is important to verify your email address immediately because the email login link is only available for a limited time. You will see when the email login link will time out in the email you receive, similar to this example email. If your email login link times out, you will need to begin the registration process again. Once you have verified your email address and completed Step 4, you will be taken to Step 5 on your progress bar, the Confirm Registration screen. Once on this screen, you will need to enter the following: your username, your password, and you will have to answer one of the 3 security questions you chose when setting up the account. For example, in this sample, you chose to remember the name of your first pet as one of your 3 security questions. Once all of that has been completed, select the Login button. Congratulations! You have completed all 5 steps for your registration. You are now registered and have an account with the Electronic Services Portal website. You will be taken to the main landing page or home page. For providers, you now have the ability to do the following using your account: submit your timesheets in the electronic timesheet system, view payment history, sign up for direct deposit online, and submit a sick leave claim online. Please note, when you are on the main landing page, you will see a list of all the recipients you provide services for. If your recipient has not yet registered for the ESP or the Telephone Timesheet System, TTS, you will see a note under that recipient's name informing you that your recipient needs to register. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the Electronic Services Portal website, Recipient Provider Registration. Please continue to view additional informational videos at the highlighted website address to learn more about the Electronic Services Portal website. To do this, log in by entering your username and password and selecting the Login button. It is important to note that if you enter your username or password incorrectly 5 times in a row, you will be locked out of your account. Please contact the IHSS Service Desk for assistance. If you are unable to remember your username or password while logging in, select the Forgot Username or Password link to receive a password reset link. Now, let's continue with your time entry. On the main landing page, there are a few different ways you can access your timesheets. One way is to select the Electronic Timesheets link on the top menu bar, and in the drop-down list, select the Timesheet Entry link under the Electronic Timesheets options. Another way you can access your timesheets is to click on the Timesheet Entry link. This will take you to the Timesheet Entry Recipient Selection screen. Please note, the recipient name you see listed on your screen is just for this example. Once you log into your account, you will see the names of your recipient or recipients listed on your home page. Once you are on the timesheet entry recipient selection screen, you will see a list of all the recipients that you work for. In this example, you have one recipient, Paul Pinetree. On this screen, you can also see information on your most recent payment. For example, the amount on your paycheck, the status of your payment, and the pay period for which you received your payment. To continue to access your timesheets for this recipient, click on the blue arrow on the right side. If you have multiple recipients, select the blue arrow next to the recipient for whom you want to enter your hours worked. Another way to access your timesheets: when you are on the main landing page, click on the recipient's name that you would like to enter your hours worked. After using any of the previously demonstrated ways, you will be taken to the timesheet entry screen. On the left side of the screen, you will be able to select a timesheet from the drop-down box. Please note, there may be multiple timesheets if you work for both WPCS and IHSS, or if you have not submitted timesheets for prior pay periods. Select the timesheet for the pay period you wish to enter time. You will be able to see the timesheet number, the status, as well as the status date. This screen also shows the available hours for the month. Please note, the available hours for the month will decrease after a timesheet has been processed for the month. You can see all of the work weeks that are a part of this pay period. And just below the work weeks is a timesheet total. You will see a total for all of the time you have entered and saved for this pay period. Now, it is time to enter your hours worked for this recipient. To do this, select the arrow for the work week you would like to enter hours for. This will expand the timesheet entry screen. When the work week expands, you will see a column for all of the days within the work week. Remember, work weeks are Sunday through Saturday. To the right, you will see a column for your hours worked. This is where you will enter your time. You have the ability to enter your hours and minutes that you worked. Next, you will see a column to enter your start time, a column to enter your end time, and a column to enter your location. At the bottom of the timesheet, you will see a timesheet total. This will provide a total of the time that you have entered for this timesheet. Below the location column, there is a previously claimed hours total and a work week total, and you will see in this example that it has 10 hours listed for both totals. This is because, in this example, displayed in gray on Sunday, March 31st, you claimed 10 hours from the previous pay period. The days displayed in gray are from a previous pay period and are not eligible for time entry during this pay period. You cannot enter hours here. However, those previously claimed hours are a part of your work week total because they were claimed for the current work week. The days displayed in black are for the days you can enter your time worked. Let's go over what each entry field on your timesheet means. The hours worked are the hours that you worked that day. The minutes worked are the minutes you worked that day. The start time is the time the first service begins on that day for that recipient. The end time is the time the last service is completed on that day for that recipient. And the location. GPS is not tracking your location. You will need to select a location where the services were provided. The options available to you to select are home, community, or both. Select home if the services were provided in your recipient's home. Select community if the services were provided outside of your recipient's home. Or select both if the services were provided both inside your recipient's home and outside your recipient's home during the workday. Here are some helpful hints when filling out your timesheet. The time between your start time and your end time may not match your hours worked for a day. For example, your start time for your recipient was 8 a.m. and your end time for the recipient was 12 p.m. for a total of 4 hours. However, your hours worked for your recipient was 3 hours. Remember, You will be paid based on your total hours worked, not the time between your start time and end time. If you work for multiple recipients on the same day, it is possible for your start times and your end times to overlap for each recipient. Just like today, you will fill out one timesheet for each recipient you provide services for. And you have the ability to fill out your timesheets daily, weekly, or at the end of the pay period, whatever is convenient for you. Now, let's take a look at how to enter time on a timesheet. We will start by entering time for Monday, April 1st. To do this, click the appropriate box, either for hours or minutes in the hours worked column. In our example, in the hours box, we will enter 10, for 10 hours worked on this day. In the minutes box, we will enter 30, for 30 minutes worked on this day. For the start time, we will enter 8 o'clock. In the box next to our start time entry, we need to select if our start time is in the AM or in the PM. To do this, select from a drop-down list. We will select AM. For the end time, we will enter 7 o'clock. And then select PM from the drop-down list. For the location, we need to select if the location of services provided was home, community, or both from the drop-down list. We will select Home. On Tuesday, April 2nd, for the hours worked, we will enter 7 hours and 45 minutes. For start time, we will enter 9:30 and select AM. For end time, we will enter 6:45 and select PM. For location, we will select Community. On Wednesday, April 3rd, for the hours worked, we will enter 8 hours and 30 minutes. For start time, we will enter 9 entered for time worked. Start time, end time, and location can all be left blank. Please note, for Thursday, April 4th, our start time entry is 12 a.m. and the end time entry is 11:59 p.m. For those providers whose recipients require services on and off throughout the day, entering 12 a.m. for the start time and 11:59 p.m. for the end time is an acceptable way to enter this time. Please note that if you try to key in a number greater than 24 in the hours box or greater than 59 in the minutes box, an error message will appear and you will need to correct your entry. Notice at the bottom of your screen there is a timesheet total. The timesheet total is a total of all time entered and saved for the timesheet you are entering time. In our example, we see a total of 0 hours. This is because you need to save your time entered. When you save your time entered, the hours and minutes will be updated in the workweek total, 53 hours and 15 minutes, and the timesheet total, 43 hours and 15 minutes. Remember, on Sunday, March 31st, you worked 10 hours, so those hours are added to your work week. You will continue to enter all of the hours or minutes for the days and weeks that you worked in the pay period. To do this, select the arrow to the right of the work week that you want to enter your time worked. Once you have entered all of your hours for the pay period, you will then select the Submit Timesheet button. Please note, you will not be able to submit time for a future date. When entering time for a day, all fields require an entry for that day. You will receive prompts informing you if you made an error while filling out your timesheets. For example, hours entry cannot be greater than 24, or minutes entry cannot be greater than 59, or hours worked cannot be greater than time at location. For example, your start time for your recipient was 8 a.m. and your end time was 12 p.m. for a total of 4 hours. However, your hours worked for your recipient was 6 hours. You will have the ability to correct these mistakes and cannot submit a timesheet with errors. In some instances, after you select the button to submit your timesheet, you may receive a helpful message warning you that the time you entered may cause a timesheet violation. In this example, the hours entered exceed the weekly hours. What this means is, by submitting this timesheet, this might cause you to exceed your monthly overtime hours, which could cause a timesheet violation. If you made a mistake and want to change the time entered, then select the Cancel button. This will take you back to the timesheet entry screen, so you may change any time you have entered. If you are sure the time entered is correct and you still want to submit your time, then select the Continue Submitting Timesheet button. After successfully submitting your timesheet, you will be taken to the electronic signature screen. On this screen, you will read the declaration paragraph and then check the Agree to Terms box that you agree to the terms. Please note that you will not be able to submit your timesheet for recipient review without checking the Agree to Terms box. If you changed your mind or made a mistake, there's still time to fix it. You can select the Cancel Submit button and make your changes. However, if everything is true and correct, you may select the Electronically Sign Timesheet and Submit for Recipient Review button. After you have submitted your timesheet for recipient review, you will see a pop-up box letting you know the timesheet information has been submitted. A notification will be sent to the recipient requesting electronic review of this timesheet. Reminder notifications will be sent periodically to your recipient to remind them they have a timesheet to approve. Then, select the OK button. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the Electronic Services Portal website, Time Entry for Providers. Please continue to view additional informational videos at the highlighted website address to learn more about the Electronic Services Portal website. .gov. In this video, we will discuss how a recipient approves a timesheet using the Electronic Services Portal website. You will be notified once your provider has submitted an electronic timesheet for approval. You may be notified via email, like the one shown, that an electronically submitted timesheet is ready for your review and a link to approve the timesheet will be provided. Selecting the link will take you to the IHSS Electronic Services Portal website to log in. However, you can also log on to the IHSS Electronic Services Portal website at any time and approve timesheets submitted by your provider by visiting www.etimesheets.ihss.ca.gov. Once you are on the IHSS Electronic Services Portal website login screen, you will log in using your username and password. Then select the Login button. It is important to note that if you enter your username or password incorrectly 5 times in a row, you will be locked out of your account. Please contact the IHSS Service Desk for assistance. If you are unable to remember your username or password while logging in, select the Forgot Username or Password link to receive a password reset link. On the main landing page, there are a few different ways you can access the timesheets to review. One way is to select the Electronic Timesheets link on the top menu bar. And another way you can access your timesheets is to click on the Timesheet Review link. This will take you to the Provider Timesheets Provider Selection screen. Please note, the provider name you see listed on your screen is just for this example. Once you log into your account, you will see the names of your provider or providers listed on your home page. Once you are on the Provider Timesheets Provider Selection screen, you will be able to see all the providers who work for you. Please note that if you have more than one assigned provider, you will see them listed on this screen. In this example, you have one provider, Peggy Pinetree, who has one timesheet to review. You can choose the timesheet to review for your provider by selecting the arrow on the right side of your screen. Another way to access your timesheets to review is when you are on the main landing page, under the list of your providers, you can see that a provider has one timesheet to review. To review the timesheet, click on the provider's name. After using any of the previously demonstrated ways to access the timesheets to review, you will be taken to the provider timesheet screen for the selected provider. Select the pay period and the timesheet type, either IHSS or WPCS, by using the drop-down box. You may review and approve, or reject each timesheet by looking at the total timesheet hours or looking at the hours entered for each work week and each day individually. This option may assist you in reviewing the timesheet more thoroughly. In this example, you will be reviewing the timesheet by looking at the hours entered for each work week and each day individually. To do this, select the arrow to the corresponding work week you want to review. You have selected to review Work Week 1. After expanding the work week, you can review the following information for each day during the work week: the hours worked, the start time, the end time, and the location submitted by your provider. Please note, if there were no hours worked for a day, then the start time, end time, and location will be left blank. You can see the work week total. This is a total of submitted hours worked for the work week you are reviewing. You can also see the timesheet total. This is a total of all submitted hours worked for the entire timesheet you are reviewing. You can review the remaining work weeks for this timesheet in a similar way by selecting the arrow with the corresponding work week. After reviewing or checking that all the hours entered on the timesheet are correct, you will need to select the Approve Timesheet button for timesheet approval. We will discuss the steps you will take if you need to reject your provider's timesheet later in this lesson. Once you select the Approve Timesheet button on the Provider Timesheets Timesheet Review screen, you will be taken to the electronic signature screen where you can electronically sign the timesheet. If you are not sure the hours submitted by your provider are true and correct, you may select the Cancel and Return to Timesheet button to double-check the hours you are about to approve. If you are sure the hours submitted by your provider are correct, there are 3 very important steps to complete. First, you must read the declaration statement in which you indicate the hours are true and correct. Secondly, you must select the checkbox saying that you agree to the declaration terms. Finally, once you are sure the timesheet is true and correct, you may select the Electronically Sign Timesheet and Submit for Payment button. Once your electronic signature has been captured, you will see a pop-up that states, "This timesheet has been submitted for processing." Then select OK. You will then be taken to the main landing page. Sometimes it is necessary to reject a timesheet that has incorrect hours recorded. Let's go back to the Provider Timesheets Timesheet Review screen. If, after reviewing the timesheet on this screen, you do not agree with the hours and/or minutes submitted by your provider, you can select the Reject Timesheet button. If you reject your provider's timesheet, you will be taken to the Reject Electronic Timesheet screen. If you decide not to reject your provider's timesheet, you can select the Cancel and Return to Timesheet button, which will take you back to the Provider Timesheets Timesheet Review screen. However, if you want to continue with rejecting the timesheet, you must select the Reject Timesheet button. Your provider will then be notified that their timesheet has been rejected. You will see a pop-up that states, "Timesheet has been rejected." Select the OK button and you will be taken to the main landing page. Please note, if you reject the timesheet, you should work with your provider to fix the error so they can resubmit the timesheet for your approval. After approving or rejecting all of your provider's submitted timesheets, you will be taken to the main landing page. In this example, you have no other timesheets to review at this time. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the Electronic Services Portal. Welcome to the electronic visit verification informational video for the IHSS telephone timesheet system, recipient provider registration. For general assistance with the IHSS telephone timesheet system, please contact the IHSS Service Desk at 866-376-7066. Select your preferred language and then select the telephone timesheet option. In this video, we will discuss how to register for an account for the IHSS telephone timesheet system as a recipient or a provider. Now, let's get started with getting your account registered on the IHSS telephone timesheet system, or TTS. If you are using this system for the first time, you will need to register for an account. To start the registration process, please call 833-DIAL-EVV or 833-342-5388. After calling the number displayed, the TTS will prompt you.
Thank you for calling the IHSS telephone timesheet system. Please select your preferred language from the following options. You may make your selection at any time. For English, press 1. For Spanish, press 2. For Armenian, press 3. And for Chinese, press 4.
You can make your selection by entering the number into your telephone keypad. After selecting your language, you need to let the system know if you are a recipient or if you are a provider. The TTS will prompt you.
If you are a recipient, please press 1. If you are a provider, please press 2.
On your telephone keypad, enter the corresponding number for your selection. After making your selection, you will be taken to the main menu. The TTS will prompt you.
This is the main menu. Please select from the following options. You may make your selection at any time. Press 1 to log in. Press 2 to reset your passcode. Press 3 for registration.
Since you want to register, on your telephone keypad, press 3. Please note, if you accidentally press the wrong number, for example, pressing 2 instead of pressing 3 for registration, you will be given the option to press 9 to return to the main menu. After choosing Selection 3 to register, you will need to enter some user information. The TTS will tell you that you need the following user information: a 6-digit registration code. Your registration code was mailed to you at an earlier date. If you do not have a registration code, please press 0 for assistance. You will then be transferred to the IHSS Service Desk. If you are a recipient, you will need your case number. It should be 7 digits and can be located on your notices of action. Or, if you are a provider, you will need your provider number. It should be 9 digits and can be located on any provider paperwork you have received, such as a previous pay stub, and your date of birth. Please note, the user information you enter must match our records to successfully complete your registration. If you receive a message informing you that your entry was not a match or not recognized, please contact your local county IHSS or IHO office to verify your information. When you have the required user information and are ready to continue, press 1. It is now time to enter your user information. The TTS will prompt you.
Using your telephone keypad, please enter your 6-digit registration code followed by the pound key. Your registration code was mailed to you at an earlier date.
On your telephone keypad, enter your 6-digit registration code followed by the pound key. After successfully entering your registration code, you will need to enter either your case number or your provider number, depending on if you are registering as a recipient or as a provider. In this example, we are registering as a recipient. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter your 7-digit case number followed by the pound key. Your case number is located on any notices of action you have received.
As a recipient, on your telephone keypad, enter your 7-digit case number followed by the pound key. In our next example, we are registering as a provider. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter your 9-digit provider number followed by the pound key. Your provider number is located on any provider paperwork you have received.
As a provider, on your telephone keypad, enter your 9-digit provider number followed by the pound key. After entering either your case number as a recipient or your provider number as a provider, you will need to enter your date of birth. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter your date of birth followed by the pound key. Your date of birth should be entered as a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. For example, if your birthday is May 12, 1976, then you would enter 0, 5, 1, 2, 1, 9, 7, 6. Please enter your date of birth followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your date of birth in the correct format followed by the pound key. Next, it is time to create your passcode. Make sure that it is something you will remember and do not share your passcode. You will need it to complete your registration and access your account. You will use your passcode when you want to submit a timesheet for your recipient to review or when you want to approve or reject your provider's timesheet. The TTS will prompt you.
Your information has been confirmed. Now you will create your passcode. Your passcode will be a 4-digit number that you will use each time you log into the IHSS telephone timesheet system. Using your telephone keypad, enter the 4-digit number that you want to use as your passcode followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your passcode followed by the pound key. You will then need to confirm your passcode in the system. The TTS will prompt you.
To confirm your passcode, please re-enter the 4-digit number you selected followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, re-enter your passcode followed by the pound key.
Congratulations! Your registration is complete and you are now registered to use the IHSS telephone timesheet system. You will now be taken to the main menu to log in, or you may hang up to end this call.
For recipients, you now have the ability to approve or reject your provider or providers' timesheets using your telephone. For providers, you now have the ability to enter time worked and submit your timesheets to your recipient or recipients using your telephone. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the IHSS telephone timesheet system recipient provider registration. Please continue to view additional informational videos. To begin, you need to log into your account by calling 833-DIAL-EVV or 833-342-5388. After calling the number displayed, the TTS will prompt you.
Thank you for calling the IHSS telephone timesheet system. Please select your preferred language from the following options. You may make your selection at any time. For English, press 1. For Spanish, press 2. For Armenian, press 3. And for Chinese, press 4.
You can make your selection by entering the number into your telephone keypad. After selecting your language, you need to let the system know if you are a recipient or if you are a provider. As a provider, on your telephone keypad, press 2. After making your selection as a provider, you will be taken to the main menu and you will choose from the following options. Press 1 to log in, press 2 to reset your passcode, press 3 for registration. Press 1 on your telephone keypad to log in. Please note, if you accidentally press the wrong number, for example pressing 2 or 3 instead of pressing 1 to log in, you will be given the option to press 9 to return to the main menu. After choosing selection 1 to log in, you will need to enter some user information. You will need your 9-digit provider number. Enter your 9-digit provider number followed by the pound key. Finally, you will need your 4-digit passcode. Enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key. After you have successfully logged into your account, you will be taken to the activity menu. Press 1 to enter time for today, or press 2 to enter time for a previous day. In our example for this video, you will be entering time for today. On your telephone keypad, you will press 1. After selecting which day you would like to enter your time worked, you need to select your recipient. If you have multiple recipients, the TTS will continue to list your recipients until you make a selection. If you have timesheets for IHSS and WPCS, you will need to select the program type. In our example, you only have one recipient, John Oaktree, for the IHSS program. The TTS will prompt you.
Would you like to enter time worked today for John Oaktree? Press 1 for yes, or press 2 for no.
Since you want to enter time for today for your recipient, John Oaktree, on your telephone keypad, press 1. The TTS will then search if time has already been entered for today. If you have already entered time for today, you will be given the option to edit your entry. In our example, today's date is March 15th, 2019, and no time has been entered for today. The TTS will prompt you.
For March 15th, 2019, no time has been entered. To enter time for this date, press 1. If you do not want to enter time for this date, press 2.
Since you want to enter time for today, on your telephone keypad, press 1. Now, let's demonstrate how to enter time using TTS. Let's go over what information is required to complete your EVV timesheet. Hours worked. These are the hours you worked that day. Minutes worked. These are the minutes you worked that day. The start time. This is the time the first service began on that day. The end time. This is the time the last service was completed for that day. And the location. GPS is not tracking your location. Since GPS is not tracking location, you will need to select a location where the services were provided. The options available to select are home, community, or both. Home is when services are provided in the recipient's home. Community is when services are provided outside of the recipient's home. And both is when services are provided both inside the recipient's home and outside the recipient's home during the workday. Here are some helpful hints when filling out your timesheet. The time between start time and end time does not have to match the hours worked for a day. For example, your start time for your recipient was 8 a.m. and your end time was 12 p.m. for a total of 4 hours. However, your hours worked for your recipient was 3 hours. You will be paid based on your total hours worked, not the time between your start time and end time. If you work for multiple recipients on the same day, it is possible for the start times and end times to overlap for each recipient. Just like today, you will fill out one timesheet for each recipient you provide services for. Because entering time with the TTS takes a little bit longer than entering time online through the Electronic Services Portal, you are encouraged to enter your time worked daily, if possible. However, you have the ability to fill out your timesheets daily, weekly, or at the end of the pay period, whatever is convenient for you. Let's demonstrate how these entries will work, starting with the hours worked entry. To assist you in understanding the flow in your time entry process, in this demonstration, there will be a visual aid of an electronic timesheet. In our demonstration, the visual timesheet will populate as you enter your information using the TTS. Also in this demonstration, you will only be entering time for one day for this timesheet. In our demonstration, you have logged into your TTS account and have selected to enter time on an IHSS timesheet for your recipient, John Oaktree. You are entering time for Friday, March 15th, 2019. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter your hours worked as a 2-digit number. For example, If you worked 4 hours, you would enter 0, 4. Enter your hours worked, followed by the pound key.
On this day, you worked 9 hours. You need to enter those 9 hours into your telephone. So, on your telephone keypad, you will enter 0, 9, and then the pound key. You can see on the timesheet that 09 is now entered in the hours column. After selecting the pound key, the TTS will prompt you to confirm your entry. For example, the TTS will prompt you.
You have entered 9 hours. If this is correct, press 1, or press 2 to edit this entry.
Since your entry is correct, you want to confirm your entry. On your telephone keypad, you will press 1. Next, you will enter your minutes worked for this day. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter your minutes worked as a 2-digit number. For example, if you worked 30 minutes, you would enter 30. Enter your minutes worked, followed by the pound key.
On this day, you worked 30 minutes. You need to enter those 30 minutes into your telephone. So, on your telephone keypad, you will enter 3, 0, and then the pound key. You can see on the timesheet that 30 is now entered in the minutes column. Similar to after entering your hours, the TTS will prompt you to confirm your minutes entry. Next, you will enter your start time for this day. The TTS will prompt you.
Please enter the time you started services on March 15, 2019 as a 4-digit number. The entry should be in a 12-hour time format. For example, if you started performing services at 9:15, you should enter 0, 9, 1, 5. Please enter your start time followed by the pound key.
On this day, your start time is 8:15. You need to enter 8:15 into your telephone. So, on your telephone keypad, you will enter 0, 8, 1, 5, and then the pound key. You can see on the timesheet that 8:15 is now entered for the start time. The TTS will prompt you to confirm your start time entry. Next, you will enter whether your start time is for the AM or PM for this day. The TTS will prompt you.
For the start time, press 1 if the service was started in the AM. Press 2 if the service was started in the PM.
On this day, your start time is in the AM. Since your entry is for the AM, on your telephone keypad, you will press 1. You can see on the timesheet that AM is now entered for the start time. The TTS will again prompt you to confirm your entry. After selecting that your start time was in the AM, you will need to confirm your entire start time entry. The TTS will prompt you.
You started performing services at 8:15 a.m. If this is correct, press 1. If this is not correct, press 2.
Since your entry is correct, you want to confirm your entry. On your telephone keypad, you will press 1. Next, you will enter your end time for this day. The end time is entered the same way that the start time is entered. For this demonstration, to skip ahead, the end time has been entered as 6 p.m. You can see on the timesheet that 6 p.m. is now entered for the end time. Please note, for those providers whose recipients require services on and off throughout the day, entering 12 a.m. for the start time and 11:59 p.m. for the end time is an acceptable way to enter this time. Next, you will enter your location for services performed for this day. The TTS will prompt you.
Please choose the location where services were performed on March 15, 2019. Press 1 for home, press 2 for community, press 3 for both.
On this day, your location is home. Since your entry is for home, on your telephone keypad, you will press 1. You can see on the timesheet that home is now entered for the location. The TTS will prompt you to confirm your location entry. Next, you will need to confirm your entire daily entry. The TTS will prompt you.
For March 15th, 2019, you have entered 9 hours and 30 minutes for services provided to John Oaktree for the IHSS program. The start time for services was 8:15 a.m. The end time of services was 6 p.m. and the location where the services were performed was selected as home. To save this entry, press 1. If you do not want to save this entry, press 2.
Since your entry is correct, you want to confirm your entry. On your telephone keypad, you will press 1. After saving your daily entry, you will be prompted for if you want to submit the timesheet to your recipient to review. The TTS will prompt you.
Your entry has been saved. If this is your last entry for this timesheet and you would like to submit this for recipient review, press 1.
For our demonstration, this is your last daily entry for your timesheet, so it's ready to submit to your recipient. To do this, on your telephone keypad, you will press 1. If you do not press 1, you will be taken back to the activity menu. After selecting to submit your timesheet to your recipient, the TTS will prompt you.
To electronically sign and submit your individual provider initial timesheet for the IHSS program for your recipient, John Oaktree, for the pay period beginning March 1st, 2019 and ending March 15th, 2019 for a total of 93 hours and 30 minutes claimed, please listen to the following message. I declare that the information on this timesheet is true and correct. I understand that any false claim may be prosecuted under federal and state laws, and that if convicted of fraud, I may also be subject to civil penalties.
Once you become familiar with using the TTS and the prompts to enter your time, you can bypass each prompt and make your entry to quicken the time entry process. However, you must listen to the entire declaration message before submitting your timesheet to your recipient. After listening to the declaration message, the TTS will prompt you to submit your timesheet. You will use your 4-digit passcode to electronically sign your timesheet. The TTS will prompt you.
Your 4-digit passcode will be used to confirm your electronic signature on this timesheet. Please enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key. After successfully entering your 4-digit passcode, the TTS will prompt you.
Your timesheet has been successfully submitted for recipient review. Your recipient will be notified.
You will then be able to request a printed copy of the timesheet be mailed to you. Finally, you will be returned to the activity menu, or you may hang up at any time. When entering time for a day, all fields require an entry for that day. You will receive prompts informing you if you made an error while filling out your timesheets. For example, hours entry cannot be greater than 24, or minutes entry cannot be greater than 59, or hours worked cannot be greater than time at location. For example, your start time for your recipient was 8 a.m. and your end time was 12 p.m. for a total of 4 hours. However, your hours worked for your recipient was 6 hours. You will have the ability to correct these mistakes and cannot submit a timesheet with errors. You will also receive a helpful message warning you if your time entered may cause a timesheet violation. For example, the hours claimed for work week 3 exceeds the amount of overtime for this case. This can cause a violation. Or, the hours claimed for work week 2 exceeds the weekly maximum of 66. This can cause a violation. This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the IHSS telephone timesheet system, time entry for providers. Please continue to view additional informational videos at the highlighted website address to learn more about the IHSS telephone timesheet system. There are 2 ways to access the submitted timesheet to review. The first way is, the TTS will call you to let you know you have a timesheet to review. After you answer the call from the TTS, you need to log into your account. You do this by entering your 7-digit case number and your 4-digit passcode. The second way is, you can call the TTS to review the submitted timesheet. You can call the TTS if you missed the call from the TTS and need to call back to review your provider's timesheet. Or, if you do not want to wait for the TTS to call you, recipients should call 833 dial EVV or 833-342-5388. After calling the number, you will choose from the following options. Press 1 to log in, press 2 to reset your passcode, press 3 for registration. Press 1 to log into your account. Please note, if you accidentally press the wrong number, for example pressing 2 or 3 instead of pressing 1 to log in, you will be given the option to press 9 to return to the main menu. After pressing 1 from the main menu, log into your account by entering your 7-digit case number and your 4-digit passcode. Once you log into your account, you will be taken to the activity menu to access your provider's timesheet for review. For our example in this video, we will demonstrate the process for when the TTS calls the recipient. In our demonstration, your name is John Oaktree, and you are reviewing an IHSS timesheet for your provider, Jane Oaktree. When the TTS calls and you answer the call, the TTS will prompt you.
Hello, this is the IHSS telephone timesheet system. There is a timesheet ready for John Oaktree's review. If this is the IHSS or WPCS recipient and you would like to log in, please press 1. If you are not the recipient, press 5. To place this call on hold while you notify the recipient of the call and bring them to the phone.
Since you are the recipient, on your telephone keypad, press 1. After letting the system know that you are the recipient, you need to log into your account. To do this, you will need to enter some user information. The TTS will prompt you.
You have chosen to log in. Enter your 7-digit case number. Your case number is located on any notices of action you have received. Please enter your 7-digit case number followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your 7-digit case number followed by the pound key. Next, you need to enter your passcode that was created during registration. The TTS will prompt you.
Using your telephone keypad, please enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your passcode followed by the pound key. After you have successfully logged into your account, you will be taken to the activity menu. The TTS will prompt you.
Welcome to the activity menu. Please press 1 to review and take action on any pending timesheets. Press 2 to review approval or denial actions you have taken on timesheets for the previous 3 months. To repeat this information, press 7.
In our example for this video, you will be reviewing and taking action on a pending timesheet that was submitted by your provider. On your telephone keypad, press 1. After selecting to review and take action on a pending timesheet, The TTS will prompt you.
You have an individual provider initial timesheet for the IHSS program for review. This timesheet was submitted by your provider, Jane Oaktree, for the pay period beginning March 1st, 2019 and ending March 15th, 2019 for a total of 93 hours and 30 minutes claimed.
Next, you will select how you want to review and take action on the timesheet. The TTS will prompt you.
Press 1 to review the weekly totals for hours claimed. Press 2 to hear the daily hours claimed. Press 3 to approve this timesheet. Press 4 to reject this timesheet and return it to your provider.
In our example, you want to review the timesheet by daily hours claimed. Since you want to review the timesheet by daily hours claimed, on your telephone keypad, press 2. To assist you in understanding the flow in your review process, in this demonstration, there will be a visual aid of an electronic timesheet. In our demonstration, the visual timesheet will highlight the corresponding fields as the TTS goes over the information. In our demonstration, you will review the daily hours claimed for only one day. In this example, you will skip ahead and review the last day of the pay period, March 15th, 2019. The TTS will prompt you.
At any time during the daily review, press 8 to return to the Review Options menu. For March 15th, 2019, 9 hours and 30 minutes have been claimed. The start time for services was 8:15 a.m. The end time of services was 6 p.m. and the location where the services were performed was home.
If there are more days remaining on the timesheet to review, the TTS will move on to the next day and prompt you with the entry. The TTS will repeat this process until all days on the timesheet have been reviewed. But remember, in this demonstration, you will only be reviewing time entry for one day for this timesheet, so the daily timesheet review is complete. The TTS will prompt you.
Daily timesheet review is complete. Press 1 to approve this timesheet. Press 2 to reject this timesheet.
Since the entry is correct, you choose to approve the timesheet. On your telephone keypad, you will press 1. We will demonstrate how to reject a timesheet a little later in this video. After selecting to approve the timesheet, the TTS will prompt you.
To complete approval and electronically sign this timesheet, please listen to the following message. I declare that the information on this timesheet is true and correct. I understand that any false claim may be prosecuted under federal and state laws, and that if convicted of fraud, I may also be subject to civil penalties.
After listening to the declaration message, the TTS will prompt you.
To confirm approval and sign this timesheet, please press 1. To cancel approval of this timesheet, press 2.
To confirm your approval, on your telephone keypad, press 1. After confirming that you want to approve the timesheet, you need to electronically sign it. The TTS will prompt you.
Your 4-digit passcode will be used to confirm your electronic signature on this timesheet. Please enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your passcode followed by the pound key. After successfully entering your 4-digit passcode, the TTS will prompt you.
You have approved this timesheet.
After you have successfully approved the timesheet, you will then be able to request a printed copy of the timesheet be mailed to you after it has been processed. If there are more timesheets for you to review, the TTS will prompt you.
To review the next timesheet, please press 2.
However, if you do not have any additional timesheets to review, the TTS will prompt you.
You have no additional timesheets to review. Thank you for using the IHSS telephone timesheet system. Goodbye.
Sometimes it is necessary to reject a timesheet submitted by your provider. To do this, let's go back to when you finished reviewing the timesheet. The TTS will prompt you.
Daily timesheet review is complete. Press 1 to approve this timesheet. Press 2 to reject this timesheet.
Since you want to reject the timesheet, on your telephone keypad, press 2. After selecting to reject the timesheet, the TTS will prompt you.
To confirm rejection of this timesheet, please enter your 4-digit passcode followed by the pound key.
On your telephone keypad, enter your passcode followed by the pound key. After successfully entering your passcode, the TTS will prompt you.
You have rejected this timesheet. Your provider will be notified. Please discuss the reason for rejection with your provider.
This concludes the electronic visit verification informational video for the IHSS telephone timesheet system approving timesheets.